Happy Friday, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Thank God it's Friday, and thank God we made it through the week. Thank you, Jesus. Now, you guys, I don't know about you. I don't know if you watched Candace Owens' episode last night. What a cliffhanger, okay? What a cliffhanger. She exposed a lot of information, and I'm like, OMG. Okay, this episode, and I've been watching her investigation in regards to Charlie Kirk from the beginning, and I have to say this episode last night was explosive. Okay, explosive, and she has the receipts of everything, and I keep telling you guys, Candace Owens is playing chess with everyone. And everyone thinks that, she doesn't know anything. She doesn't have any information. She doesn't have any receipts. While everyone is just relaxed and playing checkers, she has the upper hand. She always had the upper hand. Always. Okay? And she's just doing things strategically. Okay? She's smart. Very smart, intelligent woman. Okay? And she knew. Even she said it last night on her podcast. She knew when she had that 4-hour meeting with Erika Kirk and Justice Strife that they were lying to her. So she already had evidence, but she wanted to test them and she wanted to see if they were really going to tell the truth to her face or they were going to lie to her face. And sure enough, they lied to her face, okay? And she just bringing receipts after receipts after receipts. And I don't understand what people are doing. Like, you know what I think? I think they underestimated her. They think that, they can just play dumb and play stupid and lie to her and thinking that she won't get to the bottom of it. Like, it's just crazy how they think that this woman is stupid and dumb. You get what I'm saying? And when Candace Owens said that, wrote a letter to Erika Kirk, I'm like, oh my gosh. And if you guys didn't listen to it, I have it for you. And we're going to listen to the open letter to Erika Kirk, the entirety. And I don't understand Erika Kirk. She's dumb. Let me take that back. She's foolish. And people are just talking to her ear, and things are going to be exposed, you guys. I told you this. A while back ago that the truth is coming out. And I have this feeling, you guys, Candace Owens is getting closer and closer and closer to expose everything. And everything that she mentioned last night, it makes sense. It makes sense. And if you have not followed her through the whole investigation of Charlie Kirk, I suggest you should. You should do it, because I've been following from start until the end, and everything that she said last night is leading up to the truth and why they wanted to get rid of Charlie Kirk. So before I show you Candace Owens' open letter to Erika Kirk, take a listen to this interview that Erika Kirk did on Fox News. She did a one-on-one with Trace Gallagher, and she basically said in this interview that she wants transparency in regards to her husband's case and public information. That's rich coming from her, that she wants transparency when she's sending cease and desist letters to people who are trying to get to the bottom of the truth, who wants transparency, including the public, who wants transparency, and people are trying to get it, and you sending cease and desist letters to people. Okay? Candace Owens is the only one, among other podcasters, are the only ones trying to investigate and get to the truth of the matter. And again, that was her best friend. She's not in politics anymore. So this is not about politics. It's about her friend who was publicly assassinated in front of the whole world and who wants to know the truth, while everyone else is just moving on with their life and accepting the narrative, accepting that Tyler Robinson is the shooter, and that's the end. We did the memorial. We made a bunch of money for Turning Point, and now we're just going to move on, and that's it. No, because none of it makes sense from the beginning, okay? And all of these people are trying to do Turning Point. The YouTubers are just, bashing Candace Owens among other people left and right. Oh, she's a conspiracy theorist. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She present receipts. then she's crazy. She had vivid dreams about Charlie Kirk. Oh, dreams don't meet evidence. It's like everything that she's trying to do and what she has been doing, providing, receipts and everything. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to know the truth. Some of you guys, they don't want to know the truth. They can care less whether Candace telling the truth or not. So if she's telling the truth, you don't want to hear it. If she made one mistake, she's a liar. She's not credible. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. But take a listen to Erika Kirk on this one-on-one interview that she wants transparency in regards to her husband death. Take a listen.
And you want to make sure there is nobody trying to twist this in any kind of outlying organization trying to twist this into something it's not. Is that a fair assessment of why you want this thing out there and transparent?
Absolutely. I want there to be no hesitation in understanding of what happened to my husband that day. I want there to always be full transparency, because what I don't want to have happen is for there not to be, and then I am relying then on social media and other news outlets to explain the narrative rather than saying, hey, this is what happened. This is what here's all of the, it's just as hard, all of the facts on the table for you guys to see. And you guys can see on full display what happened to my husband. And there is no ifs, ands, or buts or confusion as to who did it and why.
By watching that interview, I don't believe her. She stumbled with her words. Basically, to me, by looking at that, she was trying to remember what she wanted to say. Like, basically, this was scripted. That's just my opinion by looking at that. I don't believe that she wants transparency, and this is why. Okay? Why she didn't fire the head of security when this whole thing happened. One. Why she didn't hire a private investigator to investigate. Two, why is she accepting the FBI narrative? Three, number four, she forgave the shooter right away. Right away, she forgave. She forgave the shooter right away. To me, that's alarming. Okay, at first I thought it was just a normal, noble thing, a Christian thing. But then after, reviewing and assessing her behavior, I'm like, no. Something did not seem right. Okay. So no, she's not outraged. She's not pissed. And the fifth one is the video that was leaked. What she said in that Zoom that it was a turning point. The memorial event was an event of the century. Who says that after your husband just got publicly assassinated like that? And you're talking about numbers, all the numbers of all the money that you pulled, all the money that you made, $250 million. Okay? And then that second Zoom meeting, next to know you're firing your staff, your employees that put their blood, sweat, and tears for that event. Also, M-Fest as well, did not eat, did not sleep, to accommodate you, to do the right thing for Charlie. And what you did, you fired them. Shame. Shame. Absolutely shame. So, no, I reject that. I reject that interview, and I don't believe her. Because if she wanted transparency, she would have went full force ahead and did her own investigation. She would have been outraged, livid. She would have come after everyone. But she didn't do that. She did the complete opposite. But wait, you guys. She was grieving. Everyone grieves differently. Just remember that. That's why she's not outraged. That's why she didn't get any her own investigator. That's why she didn't fire the head of security who was supposed to protect her husband. But again, everyone deals grief differently. That's all I have to say about that. Moving on to Candace Owens and this open letter to Erika Kirk. And I had to come up here and talk to you guys about it and dive in and give you my assessment what Candace Owens was telling the public and what I got out of it, because I was listening carefully and I took notes, okay? Lots of notes, okay? Because you know, some people, they like to take videos out of context. Oh, this is what Candace Owens said. No. Don't take it out of context. Really, people that really need to go back and listen to, watch the episode fully, not little clips, not little bits and pieces, the full episode, because that's what I did. And ladies and gentlemen, oh my gosh, I was just eating popcorn after popcorn after popcorn and taking notes, because what Candace Owens exposed, whoo, child. I know Erika Kirk is pissed. I know she's pissed. And the funny thing is, there's no lawsuit, meaning that they're not coming after her. You know, she even said to Candace Owens, if I'm lying what I just said, go to my attorney. If I'm lying of defamation, reach out to my attorney. Reach out. You see, I keep saying she is playing chess, and all the rest of these suckers who's lying, playing checkers, okay? Candace Owens always had the upper hand. She always has, but she was just being smart and waiting to see how people are going to react and how they're going to respond to questions that Candace Owens asked them, okay? The woman's not stupid. She is clever and smart, and she's 10 steps. Let me take that. She's 100 steps ahead of all of them. All of them. You think she don't have receipts? You don't think she has, but she's just doing it smart. She's not releasing all the information, you know, because they can easily lie, get rid of it, and say that's not true. But Candace Owens from the beginning has been very transparent, very honest, and she's the only one who wants to get to the bottom of it. She's the only one that cares and want to get to the bottom of it. She has not sold any merchants or anything on the behalf of Charlie Kirk. Nothing. All she wants is the truth, what happened to him, to her best friend. And everyone to push her or make her seem like she's crazy, trying to break her. And I keep saying, you can't break a woman who's from God. You can't do that. She's a child of God. God is protecting her and her family. So everything that everyone's trying to do to this woman, from left and right, just attacking her, trying to break her spirit. God is protecting her. Don't you see that? And I'm talking about the Turning Point people, Erika Kirk, Andrew Corvette, everyone from French government, from U.S. government, from Israeli government, all of them. You try to break this woman, but you don't understand the power of God, the power of Jesus. You cannot break a child of God. You can't. You can try. You can't. And that's the devil. All of this is the devil. The devil was trying to distract Candace Owens, to try to break her, to make her feel weak and helpless. But when she had full supporters like me and her followers and God and her family, who can come between that? You can't. They can't. They can try, but they can't. So with their money, their lawsuit, all that means shit to Candace Owens. She made that abundantly very clear. Money doesn't mean anything to her. Lawsuit don't mean nothing to her. She welcomes it. She welcomes it, because then when you sue her, then everything got to be exposed, unless they hire some corrupt judge, corrupt courtroom, which I wouldn't be surprised. But besides that, you can't break a woman when God is all over her. God's hand is all over Candace Owens. Remember what Charlie said in the text. Candace Owens is her David. Full stop. Her David. So whatever you try to do or try to throw at Candace Owens, it's not working. It's not. And I keep saying, things are going to be out. Things are going to be exposed. The truth is going to come out this year. And I feel it with every fiber of my being, you guys. I feel it that it's coming out soon. Soon. You see. Don't take my word for it. You will see. And then we're going to come back here. We're going to circle back and come back here. And I'm going to say, you see, this is exactly what I said a few months ago. I actually said it last year, too, that this year, 2026, things are going to come out to the light. Okay? They try to hide things from the dark. God is going to bring everything to the light because God is with Candace, and Charlie Kirk is Candace Owens David. So let's take a listen to Candace Owens' open letter to Erika Kirk. Erika Kirk should be afraid. She called herself Christian too. You're not Christian, Erika. You're not. For all the things that you've done, you're not Christian. And for you to say that you're Christian, you're fraudulent. And I'm going to say that. You're fraudulent. You're not Christian. You have made the deal. You have made a deal with the devil. That's what you did. And when you do that, you're going to reap what you sow. There's going to be consequences for your action. And I'm saying that to all the employees, the majority of the employees in Turning Point. The deals that you made with the devil, don't think it's going to come back. Don't think that it's not going to come back to you, because it will. It's already happening now. So buckle up, because things are going to be exposed, and the truth always wins. That's why you always have to stick with the truth. Stick with the light, stick with the truth. Don't stick with the lies and the darkness. Even though you think the darkness wins and you think you got away with being in the dark and lying, truth always exposed. That's why I'm always for truth, not with the BS lies. But take a listen to Candace Owens' open letter to Erika Kirk.
I thought it best to do this publicly. I think public conversations keep everybody honest. And there are some things that certainly need to be clarified, because sometimes the gap between the truth and the lie is what happens behind closed doors. You and Charlie began dating in earnest in 2019, and in retrospect, it was accompanied by a season of a lot of change. For one, I was getting married and virtually, therefore, joined at the hip with my fiance. He was sort of a new third wheel at all of our events. A few months later, on May 1st, the public was informed that I was resigning from my position as the communications director of Turning Point USA. Now, there has been a lot of public speculation as to what led to that decision. The media ran with it was anti-Semitism or some disagreement about Kanye West, but that wasn't true. None of that was true. The truth, and I think that you very well know what the truth is, if you were around for it, is that Charlie and I had a disagreement which fractured my trust in him. He did something that he had never done before. He lied to my face about money. Now, in retrospect, I believe that the manner in which I discovered the lie might have been by design, but there's no need for us to delve into conspiracy when the facts are plenty enough. Charlie had taken a meeting down in Florida with Ike Perlmutter at Mar-a-Lago. It was a fundraising meeting. For whatever reason, he did not want me to know about this meeting, and that was strange. It was meant to be kept a secret. Strange because we had always collaborated on and taken those sorts of meetings together. Anyway, I found out about it, and I decided to ask him casually as we were riding up an elevator at the Trump Hotel in D.C. I said to him, have you heard from Ike recently? And he looked me right in the face, just as he was getting off on his floor. And he said, no, I haven't. I haven't heard from him in like 2 weeks. And I then said back to him, really, Charlie, because you had lunch with him yesterday at Mar-a-Lago. And I saw his stomach drop. His entire face looked, as if he was going down a roller coaster. He stuck his arm back in the elevator really quickly and tried to explain it away. He then pivoted toward an apology, but obviously the damage was done. And if I'm being honest, I was as hurt as I was shocked and confused by it, because we were close. We did go back down to the lobby. We sat at a table and we talked. I don't even remember whether or not I was angry. I probably was. That does tend to be my choice emotion. But deep down, there was a part of me that knew that it was coming because of a lot of the new hires that were coming into Turning Point USA post Kanye tweet. Charlie had new people in his ear that were hijacking his ambition, making him believe that money was the truest measure of success. Charlie was a brilliant fundraiser. Everybody knows that, but he was also young. He was naive to what the wrong money could invite into his life. And I warned him. I warned him in that restaurant. I warned him specifically about Stacey Sheridan. Everything about her made my skin crawl. And I suspected she and Tyler had something to do with it. I also warned him about Schaefer Security and Dan Flood. You can check the text messages because you have them. And now I am left wondering, obviously, if Charlie had heeded my advice, if he would still be alive. I've also come to another realization that I missed at that time. Maybe the newest and the biggest influence in his ear. Who was that, obviously? It was you.
Erika.
You were the newest and biggest influence in Charlie's life. You kind of all arrived at the same time. And you too, Erika, you lied to my face as we sat down in that hotel and we spoke for 4 hours. But I want to be clear, it was different. You see, with Charlie, I could forgive him. We were always like brother and sister. We went on tours thereafter. But you didn't do it, when you lied, you didn't do it out of naivety. You didn't do it because you were young and being pulled into the wrong direction by bad faith actors. Andrew Colvett was never going rogue. You knew that. Every single evil thing that was done to me was done with your blessing. And I consider the onslaught of attacks that I had to endure, they were evil. Because you knew I was telling the truth, and you authorized people with an incredible amount of money to attack one of the few people in politics who was actually grieving your husband. You knew we had a deep friendship. You knew I was telling the truth about the Catholic thing, about everything. You allowed these people to lie and to...
Shame on Erika. Shame! All this attack, all this, and all Candace Owens wants to do is get to the bottom of the truth. And she knew that her and Charlie were close, best friends, brothers and sisters, Christian. And for Erika to do the things that she did, to attack Candace Owens, to attack her credibility, to do everything left and right, to break her, to bring her down, to distract her, and none of it was working. And it's a shame. Shame on her. Shame on Erika. She's disgusting for her to do that. It's just absolutely disgusting. And then she goes out there with an interview with a smile on her face, preaching to young college students, and she's doing this. Ridiculous. Two-faced. And you call yourself a woman of Christ, and you trying to build Charlie Kirk's legacy acting like this behavior is utterly disgusting. Shame. Again, shame on Erika.
Say that Charlie and I hadn't spoken since 2019. I mean, it's crazy how much of a lie that was. You authorized it, and I now know that. The question,
why?
It was so cruel. It was so mean, right? Why impart that on someone who you know, within a sea of snakes, actually cared about Charlie and didn't want anything out of the organization?
Pause. Right. She don't want anything. No money, no I can't even say it. Publicity. Hope I'm saying it correctly. She don't want anything. She just wants the truth, what happened to her best friend. Is that so hard? Why she don't get it, Erika? She said on that, you heard it, on that interview, on that one-on-one with Fox News, she wants transparency. And this woman, Candace Owens, is giving transparency, giving receipts, giving facts left and right. And you don't want it. You reject it. And so you're just attacking this woman, attacking everyone else who's trying to get to the bottom of your husband's assassination. It seems like Candace Owens cares and everyone else cares except for you. You don't care. And people can see that. It's not only Candace Owens, the internet. Everyone can see that you don't care. It's all about money and being popular and being in Hollywood, trying to be irrelevant. You don't care. And it shows it. Your demeanor, your actions, everything that you're doing. And then you trying to block everyone else who's trying to get to the bottom of the truth, who killed your husband. Make it make sense.
Maybe it's because I was like a loose end. One person that wasn't controlled by an organization. I just kind of proven that I'd rather lose everything to say something that I don't believe, least of all for money. I mean, maybe it's also because you have his phone. And when I revealed to the public that he had predicted his own death in remarkable detail, maybe you went back and you read the rest of those messages, the ones that I haven't yet revealed to the public, because in retrospect, those messages they're pretty terrifying because they're precise and it feels prophetic. Charlie was gifted. You know that. I know that. And the government most certainly knew that as well since he was a kid, which is why it was at least very interesting to me that you told the New York Times, something that most people didn't pay attention to, but you told the New York Times the night before his murder, Charlie's, and I'm going to quote this, you said that Charlie's adrenal glands were just going off. He couldn't sleep. I know enough about Charlie to know what that means. That means that Charlie was being bothered. He was probably having visions like he was in 2018, probably a clearer vision than the one that I had that you guys tried to mock, that danger was coming. And I'm going to go ahead and say that it wasn't about a Jezebel article written by some leftists. Please stop saying that because it's not true. I know Charlie, a leftist article didn't upset him in this way. Didn't make him call a priest to pray over him. He thought someone was going to kill him. He did express that in writing, and you did not lose those text messages. You knew that. But Charlie and I spoke a lot about his third eye. That's why that sentence caught my attention in the article. We spoke about the street lamps that would go off when he would run, about the special school that he had to go to. We spoke about a lot of the things that were strange in our childhood, the testing that both of us had to endure. We spoke about the fact that we could both astral project. You know all of this, of course. You have his phone. And how surprised we were when we learned that not everybody does that naturally. Sleep paralysis, you name it. We had conversations about it. And if Charlie's adrenal glands were going off, it was probably maybe for the very same reason that I pulled my kids out of school days before he was murdered, because I sensed danger was coming. And since we are being open, I also want you to know that it struck me as odd when you said in that interview with Jesse Waters that you wanted Charlie to have a good night's sleep. He was so excited. So you sent him to sleep in his daughter's room. It just registered to me as a little bit backwards. I wanted my husband to have a good night's sleep because of something he had the next day. I'd probably let him sleep in the room, and I would sleep in my daughter.
Pause. And when Candace Owens said that, and I started to realize, man, I missed that when Erika Kirk did that interview with Jesse Waters on Fox, that she mentioned that, you know, she wanted Charlie to get a good night's sleep and to sleep in their daughter's room, and then she sleeps in the main room. And then now looking back and realize, why would Charlie sleep in the daughter's room? Why couldn't he sleep in the guest room? And then when Erika Kirk said to Jesse Waters, oh, he woke up, he went in the room, grabbed his ring, put his ring back in his finger. I'm like, back in his finger? I totally missed that. And I'm thinking, did they have an argument? Because that's the only thing I can think of. Did they have an argument that they had a disagreement, or an argument that Charlie decided to sleep in the daughter's room? That's mostly, you know, when you're married and then you have a disagreement with your spouse and you don't want to see their face and it's a heated conversation, you sleep in another room. But that raised a red flag. He took his wedding band off, and then he put it back on the next day, and then he left without saying goodbye. So obviously there was a conflict, a heated discussion that night before he left to go to that event at UVU. And I got to pause, Candace, because I want to take you guys back to the interview of of Erika Kirk and Jesse Waters, what she said. And I just can't believe that I just didn't realize that, and I dropped the ball on that. But now it makes a lot of sense. But take a listen to Erika Kirk in her interview with Jesse Waters. Take a listen.
And we were going to meet for dinner beforehand with a dear friend of ours who I wanted to just be with us and pray with us before. It's no hidden secret that stuff on campus is heating up. You see people on campus coming on with guns prior to the event that the assassination, and so I know that, you know, you and I even talked about how I used to say, you know, Charlie, have you ever thought about wearing a vest? He would nod to that and be like, you know, I've looked into it. But he'd always say, if they're going to get me, they're going to get me. He wasn't afraid. It wouldn't have mattered anyways if he wore a vest.
Erika's mom was dealing with a medical issue, so she stayed in Phoenix to care for her. She planned to join Charlie at the next scheduled Turning Point event at Colorado State just a few days later.
He was like, home needs you. Home needs you. Be home. Come with me on Thursday to the next event we have. And so for him, that night, he was so excited. I mean, he just was like, I can't wait. It's going to be the best. And he got up around 2:45, 3-ish to go into the kitchen to grab a snack. And our daughter had woke up around that same time. We live in a small space, so you can kind of hear when everyone's kind of shuffling around. And so she came to our room, and she stayed in our bed. And he always loved when Gigi slept in our bed because she's, you know, little ones, they like curl up inside of you and like they're just nuzzled in. But you also know that it can be very acrobatic when a 3-year-old is in your bed and somehow their feet end up on your face. So I said, I want you to have a good night's sleep. Go ahead and sleep in her room. And I'll turn the air down so it's nice and cozy in there. And I just want you to get a good night's sleep so you can be amazing tomorrow. And so Gigi and I stayed in our room. And that morning he woke up super early and he came into our bedroom, into the bathroom, because that's where his wedding ring was and his necklace. And he came in and he grabbed that. And then he left. I didn't even get to give him a kiss goodbye.
So I don't know why, you know what I mean? To me, I don't know why she said that part, because people realize, oh shit, excuse me. They probably had a heated argument and Charlie knew that he had a big event that he had to attend and he needed a good night's sleep. So instead of like, this is me speculating here, but by listening to her, what she said, and I'm married myself, and if my husband pissed me off and I'm annoyed and pissed, I don't want him to sleep in the same room with me. So therefore, we go into the other room because I don't want to see your face and I'm heated. Even though you should not go to bed angry, you should not go to bed mad. But I'm just saying, I'm just giving you an example what I believe probably what happened. There was an argument between the both of them. Charlie went to his daughter's room, Gigi, woke up the next day, went to the bathroom because it's like Erika said, it's connected to the room, got his wedding ring, got his necklace, and left. He didn't even kiss Erika goodbye. I see you later. I love you. None of that. She didn't even say that. Okay, that is concerning. That's a red flag. But Candace Owens is going to say more. I just wanted to point that out to you. I can't believe I missed that myself. I had to go back and I'm like, oh shoot, because again, I was in the moment while she was grieving. You know what I mean? Until we all saw her behaviors and her lies that she told, like little lies. And then I'm like, oh, is this all real? The interviews that she did, is it real, or was it all just performance, or was this an act to get sympathy from the public, sympathy from all of us? That's what it's starting to make it seem like. You know what I mean? This was all an act, in my opinion. But let's go back to Candace.
Flag that. I also thought what was interesting is that you said the next morning when he snuck in, he grabbed his wedding band. Again, minor detail, but I asked myself, why was his wedding band off?
Right.
But enough with speculation. Here are the facts.
Yeah, enough. Yeah, we want facts.
I now have verifiable proof in writing that Justin Strife and you lied to me. You know exactly who Pierre is. Why did Justin Strife say that he had never heard of Pierre? It's crazy. Justin, why would you do that? Justin, you know him. You've met with him. You've personally met with Pierre. Erika, you've met with him in the wake of Charlie's death. I have, again, verifiable proof. So you can call your lawyers. You can spend another $1 billion on PR if you want to. Tell your lawyer to call my lawyer. I mean, you guys certainly have the money to do all of these things. It's not going to wipe away the truth. Okay?
It sure ain't.
The truth is that there was a deal on the table with Pierre, who, yes, is from France, born in France. And that deal was worth billions. Not millions, billions, plural, billions of dollars.
Billions.
Just after Charlie was shot. And again, I have proof. Pierre had a phone call with Justin Strife. He also had a phone call with Mr. Don Orico of Turning Point USA down in Tampa. And you know what's really odd? Somehow this French man, Pierre, he knew that Charlie was dead before the rest of the world did. How did he know that? How did he know before I knew? Especially because he wasn't yet a donor to Turning Point USA. Why was he given so much priority? Frenchman. I'm interested.
Sorry.
I know that after Charlie died, that deal went through. Yeah. I mean, if I'm lying, this would definitely fall within the category of defamation. So, yeah, I'm all in on this one. I'm guessing.
Pause. And you know she's telling the truth. If she's all in and Erika sue her or send her more letters, then you know that Erika effed up. Because you know Candace, she doesn't play, okay? When she says she has verified proof, the woman has proof. She has receipts. She's not just going to come up on her show and say all this without not having receipts to back up her claim. So I fully believe her. And I know all of her followers believe her too. This is not a woman that you will mess with, okay? She doesn't need to lie. When she says she has proof, believe it. Believe it.
By the way, regarding this, Pierre, this might be the reason that the White House never got back to me regarding the French Foreign Legion being involved with Charlie's assassination.
Hey, stop.
Because, I don't know, there could be a French angle here. Could this be a motive? Could billions of dollars be a motive? I mean, I'll just ask some immediate questions. My question would be, why would a devout Catholic Frenchman be looking to give billions of dollars to an evangelical organization? Is that not weird? Just objectively weird? Gosh, that's a pretty big investment.
Sure is.
About free market capitalism. What's France got to do with college campuses in America? Full stop. The answer, Erika, is nothing.
Exactly. Nothing.
One of the things that when I was a kid, and other GATE kids, as we've been speaking about the GATE program, and they put you in these special classes, they test you frequencies, sounds, they made us drink fluoride, all the weird stuff. But one of the things that they're especially interested in is how quickly you can put together puzzles. And I want you to know that I excelled at that. I was really good at putting together puzzles. I gotta tell you, I think a picture is starting to emerge here. I think I was right. My best guess is that it was Pierre Falcone all along. Of Angola Gate, we talked about it on the show. France, Israel, the United States, this time it would be Egypt rather than Angola, all working together. Maybe they were getting the band back together to traffic because, there's been a lot of trafficking that just keeps coming up in this investigation. These countries, these satellite of countries, you trying to pretend with your billions of dollars, got a PR, we can do all of this. And it was so crazy. Oh my God. A little joke about the Egyptian planes. What? Nothing to see here. This is my theory. There's a lot to see here. Because you were lying to cover Bibi Netanyahu's tracks. That's very strange. Bibi Netanyahu called. Andrew told me that Bibi offered to take Turning Point USA to the next level. And that Charlie turned him down in the Hamptons.
Pause. So I see where Candace Owens is getting at here, okay? But I'm going to let her finish, and I'm going to give you my assessment, what Candace Owens, where she's getting at with all this. And to be honest with you guys, it makes so much sense. It really does. But let her finish.
At the dinner that you were a part of, but you don't remember that part. You say he's just calling about a letter that Charlie wrote 5 months earlier. The dinner that you thereafter allowed an army of influencers to claim never actually happened, but you were there. Oh, I was there every step of the way. None of this ever happened. Nobody wanted to address Bibi calling. Nobody made any statements about that. Full-blown psyop, psychological operation. Truly, everything that you guys did, not only was it cruel, but I think the real motivation was you just thought you could psychologically break me. Because that's what this whole thing is, one big psyop. Very well funded because there's a lot of money on the line. if nothing happened in the Hamptons that was out of the usual, why the panic?
Right.
Because something could happen. Charlie
Yes.
told Bibi Netanyahu, no.
No.
Bibi, also, Charlie had declined to have Bibi on his podcast. When Bibi went on a little PR tour, Charlie didn't want to have him on the podcast, according to Andrew. So Charlie seems pretty done with Israel, right? You don't want to have on the prime minister of Israel? But the obvious question here at the media is not interested in, but I certainly am, is in exchange for what, right? In exchange for what was Bibi Netanyahu going to take Turning Point USA to the next level? In exchange for what? And also, how was he planning to get that money into the company?
Right.
Turning Point was already worth $100 million. More than $100 million annually. What does the next level mean? It sounds like it would have to be billions. Via whom? My guess is Pierre. Erika.
Bingo.
I think that there's a reason Pierre knew that Charlie was dead first. I think there's a reason he was a priority. How?
Yes.
Why? I think France and Israel are involved in Charlie's assassination. And I'm going to put that out there with full confidence. I also have very strong evidence which suggests that you lied about your whereabouts on the morning of September 10th. Little details have been edited. You said that you were accompanying your mother as she was receiving a treatment. Like I said, I now have something which strongly disputes that narrative. So I'll ask you this question on behalf of the world. What the hell happened on September 10th? Why are you guys struggling to get your story straight? Why did you tell Jesse Waters this?
And you
Let's
wanted
go.
to see Charlie immediately and came up. Take us through that.
We landed in Utah, went straight to the hospital.
Lies.
Straight to the hospital? Andrew told me that when he deplaned, you guys embraced on the tarmac and he boohoo cried in your arms because he has so much pent up anxiety. So just given the planes, which you confirmed to me which plane he was on and which plane you were on, that would mean that you had to wait for Andrew to land for an hour. Waited for an hour. Don't do the thing where you tell me that Andrew went rogue. Don't do that, Erika. You're lying. You would be lying. Question is why? Why did you wait? And how long did you wait? And who was on the Egyptian planes? Who took off the Delaware? Who stayed behind to communicate on that second plane that was transponding for no reason? I think you know what I know, which is that I'm going to find out. This is not going to be a never-ending mystery. This is not going to be the JFK story.
No, it's not.
That's exactly what happened. I'm getting very close against all odds.
Yes, you are.
Against billions. You might have the billions, but I have the truth.
Amen. That's it, Candace. That's it. Now, a lot to unpack here. Okay, a lot to unpack. Now, what I got out of this, okay, what I got out of that episode, okay, obviously they were trying to intimidate Charlie Kirk in the Hamptons. They was trying to, put pressure on him for him to, not to invite Tucker Carlson, not to invite Candace Owens. And he was not buying it. He didn't want to do it. Okay. Then Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu wanted to take Turning Point to the next level, meaning offer more money. Charlie Kirk turned it down. That upset a lot of people, a lot of employees, including Andrew Colvett, because according to the employees from Turning Point USA, he lost a lot of money out of that because Charlie Kirk turned it down. Okay. Now, what Candace Owens said that Bibi Netanyahu he was doing a press tour. Charlie Kirk did not want him on his podcast. Okay. Charlie Kirk was done. After being harassed, after trying to intimidate him, trying to do everything they can, Charlie Kirk was done at that point. Okay. So when Bibi Netanyahu said he wanted to take the Turning Point to the next level, okay, and Charlie Kirk turned down the deal, the offer, and everything. And now you have this Pierre guy, okay? Pierre Farcon, if I'm saying his last name, okay, to make this exchange. What I'm guessing at, and what I believe, that Charlie Kirk was a means to an end. Okay, they needed to get rid of Charlie Kirk because this Pierre guy, he's worth money, and he was going to send a lot of money to Turning Point, billions. Candace Owens said billions of dollars, but BB Netanyahu couldn't do that on his own. So basically, he used Pierre as a gateway. Okay, he used Pierre to contact Erika, to contact Justin Schaaf, okay, to make that exchange, to make that deal. How is it that Pierre already knew that Charlie Kirk was dead? He was not even donating money when Charlie Kirk was alive. As soon as he was dead, as soon as he was assassinated in public, that's when the money flowed. That's when the money exchanged, okay? So, this makes me to believe that BB Netanyahu was involved in this, okay? His DNA, his fingerprints, everything is just all over it. And Pierre was the gateway, the middleman, basically. Okay, he was the middleman. He was the middleman to do this exchange deal, which Erika allegedly, okay, because Candace Owens has proof, and I cannot wait until she revealed the proof, okay? She has verified proof, she said, okay? And she said she could bank on that. So apparently, Erika Kirk, Justin, they made that deal. They made that exchange, and that's when Charlie Kirk was dead, okay? And she has strong evidence of that, okay? She lied about her whereabouts. She cannot verify, Erika Kirk, she cannot verify her whereabouts on September 10th. She said she was with her mom. Candace Owens said that's a lie. She was not with her mom. Where was she? Where was she on the 10th? Because apparently she was not where she said that she was. Okay. Where did she go? She still cannot provide an alibi. That's just crazy to me. She's dodging her alibi. She's just making things up, and people are catching her with her lies. And people think that they don't see it, that we don't see the lies that she's telling. It's just crazy. And it just makes sense that Pierre was the vessel of the donation. He was. Because obviously, how can BB Netanyahu donated that huge amount of money? Because it would have been traced back to him. So obviously he used Pierre as a vessel and as a middleman to do that transaction, and to make that deal. Okay? And Candace Owens have proof of that. And she's going to present that proof on Monday. And this is just crazy to me that this was all happening. And Erika knew about this. And the thing is, Candace knew about this, and she was sitting on this, but she was waiting to see what Erika and Justin was saying, and they lied to her face. That 4-hour meeting. So I have to say, I underestimated Candace Owens. I really did. You know what I mean? Because, after that meeting, I thought that she was not the same. She was not giving a lot of information. But sure enough, she was sitting with a lot of information. She knew a lot of stuff, but she did not want to tell it to the public, okay? Because she wanted to wait, which is smart of her. She wanted to wait and see how these people, Erika, Justin, Andrew, how they will react, what they were going to lie about. And sure enough, they're lying. They're lying. So that makes me to believe that this all was planned for this hit on Charlie Kirk over money, because Charlie Kirk turned BB Netanyahu down. He turned it down. They didn't like it, and they got involved. In order to get rid of Charlie Kirk, they had to eliminate him over money. That's the motivation. That's why they're so freaked out of the finances and everything. That's the big motive. It's not because of the trans. It was never because of that. It was because of the money, and they wanted Charlie Kirk out of the way because he was not. He was standing up for himself. He was standing up for his Christian values, and he was not going to be tolerated being bullied. And he even said that they are going to kill me. And when he means by they, he means by these Israeli government, these people that have been bullying him left and right, putting pressure on him. He knew that. He even said it on his text message. He had vivid dreams about it, that he was going to die at a young age. And Erika Kirk knows this. She has the man's phone. She read through his text messages. So Candace Owens said on her show last night, tell me if I'm lying. Tell me if I'm lying. Everything that I just said last night, tell me if I'm lying, Erika. So that makes me to believe that Candace Owens has receipts. Now, I want to show you this video of an employee of Turning Point who got fired, who got let go because she was in an Uber driver's car, and one of this woman who was an Uber driver was asking questions about Turning Point, and then this woman answered, and because she answered this question, she got fired over it. It's just crazy. But take a listen to the video that she made, and I have to. This woman is very brave, Audrey, very brave for sticking up for truth and sticking up for what happened to her, because what happened to her should not have happened and is messed up. And Erika called her Turning Point employees her family. You don't do that to your so-called family, that you just fire them for no apparent reason. But take a listen to what she has to say in full detail. It's a little bit long. It's 4 minutes long. So it's very important that you hear what she had to say, because it's super important what she went through, and it was just unjust, to be honest with you. It's very unjust. Take a listen.
And I am the former public relations manager for Turning Point USA, and I was a part of the recent kind of mass termination group at Turning Point, and was let go about 3 weeks ago. And at the time of my release, I was working for the ATK company, which is spokesman Andrew Colvet's private business that contracts out with the Turning Point kind of ecosystem. So encompassing of Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action. I was working directly for him. Prior to that, I did work for Turning Point USA. So I've been with the organization since 2021. So my boss, Andrew Colvet, and I had a very close working relationship. I talked with him on a weekly, if not daily basis. My tasks were assigned by him to me. Working directly for him was a challenge and very intimidating because, he was Charlie's right-hand guy, always in Charlie's ear, constantly. And so it was very important to me to be an impressive and loyal employee to Andrew, to which I believe I certainly was. I did so many things for that company. I worked many, many hours outside of my general kind of understanding of what this job entailed. And I had no problem with it because I wanted to work hard for both Andrew and Charlie, for my coworkers, and for the Lord. And that was the expectation that Charlie had for us as well, was to work very hard. I really believed in the mission of Turning Point and what we were doing. So taking you back all the way to 2021 when I first started working at Turning Point, let's be honest, being a conservative was not very cool back then. I think we really owe it to a lot of the work that Charlie put in and us at Turning Point put in. It kind of made conservatism more cool and trendy. But back then, it wasn't very cool. And so it was such a beautiful thing to be kind of plopped into this place of employment where everybody was so like-minded. It was just such a fun place to work. I had nothing but wonderful experiences right from the start. But then in, I'd say around 2022 or 2023, things kind of started to change. The energy kind of had shifted within the organization as a whole. And I believe that stemmed from Charlie sort of taking a step back and kind of more taking that true CEO leadership role. And Charlie decided to entrust some of these people that had been working at Turning Point and some outside hires to kind of take more of a leadership position within the organization. And I don't blame Charlie for that. I kind of understood where things were going. I wasn't a big fan of the energy and kind of environment shift, but I understood why things like this needed to happen. These people that Charlie put into leadership positions, I didn't always agree with, but I was certainly in no place to judge the discretion of my CEO. I trusted that he put the right people in charge, but over time I pretty quickly learned that some of these people in leadership positions were not people that I felt were either prepared or qualified to be, or deserving to be in that role. Fast forwarding a few years from that time I just spoke about in 2022, 2023, all the way up until September 10th, 2025. Obviously, it was an extremely traumatizing day for everyone. I think pretty much everyone in the world with any amount of sanity was slightly traumatized by what they saw. It was an extremely traumatizing day for me. And I worked nonstop. My phone received hundreds of phone calls on September 10th, thousands of text messages, and multiple times I kind of got reprimanded for not being responsive enough to people, but I literally just could not keep up with everything that was happening between my email and my personal phone and my work phone. It was just non-stop. And I've seen a video of a coworker of mine who was also released from Turning Point. She spoke about 20-hour days. Yeah, absolutely. Those were very, very real, especially for those first 2 months post Charlie's assassination. In December, we obviously had America Fest here in Phoenix, Arizona, and that was nonstop work too. And so really it's just been go, go, go for almost the past 6 months with like no extra compensation, no breaks, no real, hey, let's grieve as a family, you know, let's take some time and we'll pick back up where we left off in just a little while. And I wasn't necessarily expecting that. Charlie was someone who always expected us to push through and to continue to work. However, I think that these are extremely unprecedented circumstances in which we were all under. And so that was a huge turnoff for me at the organization. It was just how everything has been handled since 9/10. During the memorial, for example, I literally did not sleep for over 48 hours. Despite all of that, I want to go ahead and fast forward to my termination, which took place about 3 weeks ago. And I was brought into an office to have a discussion just generally about my employment. It was myself, Andrew Colbett, and Marina Muniz, who is the CMO of Turning Point USA, who I used to work for when I was just full-time with Turning Point prior to joining the ATK company. They pulled me into a room and they sat me down and told me that there were 2 instances they wanted to talk to me about, one of which is pretty irrelevant to this timeline, so I'm just going to talk about the one, which was an Uber ride that took place allegedly in the months of either October or November of 2025. And what was told to me was that a Turning Point executive got into an Uber one day and they randomly just kind of started talking about Turning Point. And the executive asked the driver, so what do you think about Turning Point? And the driver proceeded to tell the Turning Point executive, well, it's just really sad. I've heard the organization's really going downhill. There's not really a direction and nobody likes Erika. And the Turning Point executive proceeded to ask this Uber driver, well, who told you that? And the Uber driver told the Turning Point executive that his daughter was good friends with a girl that worked at Turning Point way back when in high school. They had spoken about Turning Point since Charlie's assassination, and that, you know, this was told to him by his daughter. And the Turning Point executive, of course, asked, well, what's the employee's name? And the Uber driver allegedly said, Aubrey who? Aubrey Leitch. And the story was presented to me as one of the reasons for my termination. And I was just a little taken aback because, number one, I'm not really friends with anybody from high school. And a lot of that has to do with my political beliefs. I've been a conservative since I was pretty much a junior in high school. And so I don't know who I would have told this story to. And it also doesn't even align with my true thoughts of Erika at the time. I've actually known Erika since 2013. We were doing pageants around the same time as one another. She was in the Miss USA organization and I was in the Miss United States organization, and we happened to cross paths at an event. So I've known Erika for quite some time, and my thoughts of her and nobody liking her do not align whatsoever with that timeline of October or November. So that was one of Turning Point's reasons for letting me go. So unlike my peers, I actually was given reason. However, there's another thing I kind of want to dive into. To protect myself, I am going to preface with Turning Point has not insinuated this. They never told me anything like this. However, I just have a gut feeling that
Go with your gut.
I was terminated from Turning Point because I am questioning the narrative of what happened to my role model and CEO, Charlie Kirk, on the day of his assassination. What is being told to us in the mainstream media just really doesn't add up to me. And I'm really hopeful that one day it will. But as it stands right now, it just doesn't. And so I've been here in the background talking with people, expressing how I truly feel, because as an American citizen, I have the right to my freedom of speech and my freedom of thought. And I have a lot of concerns and a lot of questions about what took place that day and the events leading up to that day. It is from my own experience that you can't question the narrative and work at Turning Point. That is how I feel. That is how other people I've talked to feel. It goes against everything that Charlie ever stood for. Charlie was someone who did question things, who did challenge the narrative. And I know that if anything at all were to have happened to myself or another employee or any other peer within the Turning Point family, that Charlie would be doing the same thing if we were brutally assassinated in the way that he was. He would have never lived it down. And that is what I'm standing by as well. I am not going to just idly sit by and hope that the truth comes to light. I'm going to take action. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to talk to other people. And I refuse to apologize for having my own freedom of thought, which is something that Charlie ingrained in me and so many other young people. So really the purpose of me coming on here and speaking with you today.
Okay. So let me get this straight, you guys. You trying to tell me this woman got terminated? At least they told her a reason, opposed to the other woman who recorded, what's his name, Frank? He just said that the Turning Point is taking it to the organization is taking it to the next level. He didn't even give her like a really good explanation why she was being fired. But at least with her, they told her. But let's get this straight here. You trying to tell me that Turning Point terminated her because she had her own thoughts, or she was in an Uber ride car and some woman was asking questions about something that happened probably a long time ago, a girl that she was friends with in high school, and this all probably was just been a setup just to test her to see what she was saying. It's just crazy. Like, are we in high school? Are we in grade school here? Like, this is crazy. Like, who doesn't talk trash about their job or vent to people about the job? It doesn't make any sense. Like, what's happening here? What is actually happening here? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You let this woman go for something that she didn't even do, something she probably didn't even say to this person that she was friends with in high school, and she don't even talk to anyone now, she said. And for her to have her own thoughts and opinions about the whole narrative, people can't ask questions. The employees and Turning Points, basically, they should just keep their mouth shut and not say anything, and then you let this woman go? Make it make sense. It's just crazy. This woman worked 20 hours a week, maybe more. She even said she didn't get any sleep. She put her blood, sweat, and tears. She worked her ass off for MBES and Charlie Kirk Memorial. And you have the audacity just to fire her for something that she may not even said? Shame! Shame! Shame on them. Shame on Turning Point. Shame on Erika. Shame. It's just utterly shame. And I'm thinking to myself, how dumb is Turning Point? How dumb is Erika? You couldn't even wait? Your employees made you money. Let me repeat it again. Made you money. $250 million they pulled in for your organization, for Charlie's organization. And then you had the nerve to fire them. You couldn't even wait until a year. You couldn't even wait, especially when you have a lot of heat on you, Erika, Andrew, and the organization. There's a lot of heat on them, and you could not even wait. They even put more fuel to the fire. You could not even wait. Like, you know what? We're not going to do anything because, it is going to make us look bad. We came in, we pulled this money, not pulled this money, we made this money in this organization. And she even said it in her own words in that recording. You get what I'm saying? She could have at least just wait so she doesn't look bad. But now she looks even worse than ever because you are firing your employees for having an opinion, having a thought, asking questions. And just like she said, Charlie Kirk would have done exactly the same thing. He asked questions. He had college students ask questions, prove me wrong to her and all that stuff. And you're doing the complete opposite, Erika. Shame, shame, to the point that your ex-employees are doing a GoFundMe. I'm pulling it up right now. The Purge Fallout Fund. This is just crazy. They made $250 million. And now these employees, okay, are starting a GoFundMe, okay, the Purge Fallout Fund, because you terminated them for no apparent reason. You made money. That is bad, what you just did. That is so bad and evil and despicable and not Christ-like. That organization is no longer Christ-like for you to do that to your family. Because you said these are your family. You love them. And this is what you do to your family, that you destroy their livelihood, the hard-earned money that they did for you, did not get any sleep, did not even eat, been working, pulling all these hours in for you, Erika, for you, and the nerve for you to do that to them. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And a lot of us should be outraged for what the organization did. This is no longer Charlie Kirk's organization. There's no longer a Christian organization. What they're doing, what Erika's doing, is just flat out evil and wrong and despicable. But I guess, you guys, when you make a deal with the devil and you have access, you no longer have access to all the other stuff. Meaning that you get to lie, you get to steal, you get to cheat, even possibly kill. Because what does the devil do? Excuse me. The devil lies, steals, and kills. And that's exactly what this organization is doing right now. All lies. I don't even know what Turning Point is now. Turning Point USA, Turning Point Faith, Turning Point Action. It's just despicable. The lies that Erika told, can't produce an alibi on 9/10. Where was she? She said she was with her mom when she wasn't. Firing her employees left and right that bust their ass off for you, for that organization, because they have an opinion, they have questions, but they can't have an opinion, they can't think, they can't have any questions to about the narrative that's been told to the public. They can't have their own thoughts. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. Erika's trying to control things and trying to keep everything lock and key, but she can't do that because it's just it's not going to happen. You know, you can't. Erika, Justin, Andrew, Mikey McCoy, his father, Elizabeth McCoy, whoever is involved, you can't stop what's coming. You can't. Your lawsuits, your money, you can't stop what's coming. You cannot stop for the truth to come out. You can't. There's nothing that Erika can do. There's nothing. Because it's coming and you're going to be exposed, Erika, because this is not what Charlie Kirk wanted, for you to do that to his employees that trusted Charlie, that Charlie gave these people an opportunity and a chance to work in an organization, to make a difference, to help people, for people to have their opinions, for people to voice their opinions and debate and ask questions. And you're doing a complete opposite of what Charlie Kirk started from the beginning. All for money, all for fame, all for being irrelevant. And it's just utterly disgusting. It is. And I cannot wait until God and Candace Owens shut it down. Shut the organization down, because now it's just dirty. It's just dirty and it's evil. It's just pure evil. There's nothing godly about that organization at all. And I'm being frank here. Nothing godly about it. Nothing at all. Nothing. So I cannot wait until Candace Owens brings receipts. I cannot wait until she brings more information so I can just dive in and tell you my inputs on it. And I just can't wait for that. So we just have to stay tuned until Monday. So I just want to say, you guys, thank you so much for joining me here on live. I really appreciate each and one of you. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. God bless. And I will see you guys on the next live.